The FBI has a file on us. We may be wiretapped. We'd be dead if we were in any other country, probably.
We believe that we have a mission to do this work. It's like a nun's calling, as strange as it sounds.
When we predict, for example, 9/11 or a terror attack that's going to happen in the world, we're just, we feel it all through our bodies. I mean, it's extremely nerve-wracking.
We even have nightmares, sometimes the night before a terror attack happens and it's very vivid, or a night before the tsunami happens. I'll have nightmares about a tsunami, say, for months leading up to it, and think I'm drowning in a gigantic wave.
We've documented over 3,000 world predictions that have happened.
I'm Linda Jameson.
And I'm Terry Jameson,
and we're the Psychic Twins. We have been psychic all our lives. When we grew up, it was a little town outside of Philadelphia, and nobody had ever heard of psychics. They didn't know what they were. And we started predicting for high school friends what they would do for a living, and we told them when they would meet boyfriends and when they would break up with boyfriends, and we were always right.
That's when we really decided to commit ourselves to this gift. It was a long time of developing our psychic gifts.
We like to say it's like metaphysical bodybuilding. Instead of going to a gym and lifting weights, we build metaphysical muscles, psychic, intuitive muscles. When we first decided this was a mission we had, we started to meditate 4 or 5 hours a day and do our channeled writing.
Automatic writing is a form of spirit writing or channeled writing where you connect with the Akashic records or the Akasha, which is kind of like a universal library. It encircles the globe. It's
contains all thought, word, and action, deed, historically, and many think that it contains future information as well.
Hers is amazing. It's like Renaissance, calligraphy.
Medieval.
The way it comes in.
It's very cryptic, only we can read it, and I can go back and read mine. She can't. Hers is like an earthquake seismograph. We use all of what we call the 4 clairs. Clairaudience is where you have clear hearing. You might hear voices. Joan of Arc heard voices that told her to go into battle for the French army. Then there's clairsentience, which is clear feeling, where you can get a sense of other people's energy by just being near them. You have a clear sense of what their emotions might be, and you kind of take it on.
And there's clairvoyance, which is clear seeing or clear sight, clear vision. The last one is claircognizance, which is clear knowing.
It's where you get a thought and you know something, you just know what's going to happen and no idea how you know.
And we have all 4 of these. We were the only people that predicted 9/11 and the events of 9/11 with proof on tape. Back in 1999, November 2nd, the legendary Art Bell of Coast to Coast AM radio said, you know what? Let's have some fun. Y2K is coming up. I think it'd be fun if you came on our show and did some world predictions for, Y2K in the upcoming millennium. We predicted 9/11 on that show.
We are seeing various terrorist attacks on federal government, and also the New York Trade Center, the World Trade Center.
And for many, many years, the media, was saying, oh, they're lying.
The tape is missing.
The tape is missing. They're lying. Oh my God, we did so many daytime talk shows, and they wouldn't let us even mention our world prediction.
We were muzzled. They said, just talk about love and romance. And we were like, are you kidding
And
me?
so, of course, people thought we were lying.
And to this day, people think we're just making it up. They don't know that we've documented every one of our world and celebrity predictions on tape.
Everything's documented, and that's what pisses the haters off the most. It's funny because skeptics have had this crusade to give Nostradamus credit for all the predictions that we made with proof. Nostradamus didn't even have more than one prediction happen.
It's interesting how people will make up, that whole 9/11 quatrain that went around the internet.
That was a hoax.
Like a wildfire, and it was a hoax. And a lot of people don't know. They think it's real. The twin brothers will fall, and
the wolves will howl in a bush, and
the steel birds will attack the twin towers. That never happened. It's a fake. But they'll give him credit, and before they'll give us credit. We've had actually hundreds of predictions. 2 terrorist attacks being plotted right now in New York, one in Washington, D.C., one in New York. We feel they'll both be thwarted. Scores of predictions of mass shootings.
France, we're going to see more in France.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
There's something in Denver, Colorado area.
Specific cities and time frames. We give time frames which most psychics never would do.
Las Vegas, Orlando,
yeah, we
San
specifically
Bernardino.
named Las Vegas mass shooting a couple years before it happened on international radio.
And into next year, and we're seeing more lone wolf attacks over the next couple of years in the U.S., 2013 to 2014.
Wow.
Lone wolf terror attacks. I'm seeing something in Las Vegas.
We're the only people who predicted the Boston Marathon bombings on international radio on 4 different radio shows the year leading up to the attack.
There's one in Boston. There's a plot in Boston.
Yes.
Not sure if it's going to actually occur, but there is one being plotted in Boston.
And nobody paid attention.
It was never a target.
It was
had never been hit.
It turned out to be one of the FBI's epic fails because they did not see anything coming. They didn't warn anyone. Obviously didn't care about our predictions. And so that was just one of many that were ignored and of course happened. People are afraid of what they don't understand, and it's a mystery to us. It really is why it's still going on in 2018, where there's so many scientific studies documenting this kind of thing as being possible. Thousands of studies published in reputable journals, and the skeptics are more like cynics, we feel. It's really because they take a cynical stance more than an open-minded stance.
We were at the state of, okay, we're just going to give up. Yeah. And then Shane Dawson called. Mm-hmm. And so he said, I want you on my podcast, Shane and Friends.
We have some fierce ladies about to be coming on today.
They call themselves the Psychic Twins, and I've been watching them on like every TV show.
And so we did the podcast. It set records for, SoundCloud and Fullscreen and everybody else.
We did a lot of collaborations with him and ghost busting in his house.
We did 100 videos with him.
Hi, we're the Psychic Twins. This is Shane. Hi, Shane.
Or are we?
And then he said, I want to give you to a channel. I want to help you start a YouTube channel. I can't believe you don't have a YouTube channel.
Hi, we're the Psychic Twins. I'm Carrie, and I'm Linda. We're identical twin psychics. We've worked as psychic detectives helping police with murder cases, cold cases, missing persons cases. We've, channeled the dead. We've, done future predictions. We do medical intuitive work, which is diagnosing illness. For people, we've diagnosed a 27-year-old with a cancerous tumor, and she found out she did have one. We told somebody to actually exhume a body, and she did it. It was called suspicious, and they buried the guy years before, and she called us frantic and said, I just don't feel this is right.
Well, they said it was a suicide, and we proved that it was.
They exhumed the body and found out the bullet wound is in such a place that you couldn't have done it yourself with a rifle. And so it's risky what we're doing here. We're saying exhume bodies. That's expensive. It's risky because you could look bad, but the fact is we have so much confidence in what we do that we go in there where people don't really have the courage to go.
What we do is so difficult on us emotionally because we're clairsentient and we're extremely emotional. If you're an artist or a published writer or a YouTuber or a designer, we're costume designers. I mean, every single word we've said has been plagiarized.
We don't make money doing any of our radio shows or our world predictions or our articles, but we do it because we want people to be made aware that this is a talent that could be developed in other people too, and every person has, the muscles and the basic innate gifts not to do necessarily what we're doing.
We joke around, we say supernatural is the new natural because we feel that in teaching people how to embrace their own intuition and psychic gifts and intuitive gifts, that everyone can develop their intuition to some degree, but you're going to be able to see around corners and protect your children and maybe I won't go to school this day because there's a terror attack, or I get a weird vibe about that guy. You know, it used to be maybe thousands of years ago before the patriarchy took over and
killed all those psychics and witches and tried to steal their power. And so we're still rebuilding like the validity of the work we do. In spite of all the persecution we've been through, we're optimistic that people are just starting to embrace this ability, and it's been longer coming than we had hoped, but we think it is moving in the direction because of certain millennials that are opening up to it.
So many of our young fans are, teenagers or 8 years old. These young kids are just dying for the truth.
We hope that people will take our lead and sort of expand on what we've been able to do over these several decades and really help mankind move in a positive direction rather than the negative direction we're going in now. It's a matter of life and death. It's a matter of survival.